Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American here in Germany, tasting rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have a brand new whiskey that just was released today here, May 12th, 2019, here in Germany. 3 years ago, they started the distillery St. Kilian in Rüdenau in the southern part of Germany, and their bottle just hit the market, and I have one here. Now, the bottle design is unique. That's the first point that everyone has mentioned. I really love how they have the St. Kilian here. They have a great label at the front here, the single malt whiskey signature one, their very first release. And also here, there's the signature. They have the 0.5 liter. And oh, I forgot to pull up the chat. So let's go see if anyone's going to be watching here with us today here. And that's so good. Got rid of my sound, and I'm going to pull up the chat now and see how many people are going to pop in here and watch me talk about German single malt whiskey. All right, so the biggest thing that everyone over in Germany is talking about is the design of this. This is actually a representation of their Foresights single pot stills. They have two of these. It's double distilled, and this bottle is actually a fairly accurate representation of what the pot stills look like. That's what they went for. And so the label has the distillation year. They have the bottling year. They have the ABV, which is 45%. I personally like this. Of course, there's a plastic and a artificial cork here, which might be good, which might be bad. I like the lip here, lightly, a good pouring ability. What really impressed me was here on the back, they tell you what's in it. Now, it's single malt. So what's in it is really important because it's the barrels. And so what we have here actually is a mixture of 37% ex-Martinique rum barrels, all first fill. There's 3% ex-bourbon quarter casks. There's a 18% ex-PX Pedro Jimenez sherry cask. There's 37% of ex-bourbon cask, and there's actually there 5% of chestnut casks. A very unique combination of casks that are actually being used here for signature one. As I said, I like the bottle. The color is a light gold. Now let's take a look at the nose. It's a darker nose. There's a lot going on in there. It's a very sweet. It's a very fruity nose. There might be a lot of a pear in there, and there's a little bit of caramelized apple as well, a little bit of mango, and the mango comes here from these ex-Martinique rum casks together with a PX sherry cask. Now, my question is, do you know any other bottlings of whiskey where you have PX and rum together? And then add chestnut on top of that. I'm sure you won't be able to find anything. Now, here at the distillery, St. Kilian, they're they want to experiment a lot. And so what they're going to do is they have over 30 different types of casks. They have Sultan, and they have Oloroso, and they have PX, and they have red wine, and they have white wine, and they have, I don't know what other, beer and stout and whatever else. They have 30 different types of casks there. And what they're going to do is they're going to play around with these different casks over the years. Now, this is the very first release. So what they're doing is they have a distilling system season with non-peated whiskey, and then they will have in the winter a peated whiskey. So around Christmas time, they will be bringing out a peated whiskey over here in Germany, maybe about 3.5 years old. So far, we've been more or less following them with their different spirit batches. There's spirit batch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, where they really overemphasize the finishes. A lot of sherry that was just overemphasized, and port that was overemphasized, and so on. And this here is not overemphasized. It's actually a good blend of everything that's going on here together. Nice. Actually, very, very nice. I like this a lot. Vanilla, fruit, harmony, and wonderful, wonderful whiskey, to be honest. Especially if you consider it's 3 years old. Wow. All right. Slanche, or cheers, or as we say in Germany, Prost. Mm. Now, there's a tiny little bit of not burnt, but roasted. Roasted. Let's go for espresso. A little bit of roasted wheat. It's really strong, to be honest, here, and I'm not really sure that I'm a great fan of this. At the end, it's a wonderful whiskey at the beginning. So on the nose, it's very fruity. There's a little bit of green apple on there as well. After a little bit of while, you have maybe even a little. One of my friends who's a whiskey blogger as well says fudge. And it gives a very sweet component there. And then we have a little bit of, that's what I really get is pineapple. Pineapple, oak, wood, cereals, grains. The alcohol is absolutely perfectly integrated in this whiskey. When you first try it, it's somewhat mild. It's soft. It's smooth. We hate the word smooth. But then there's a little bit of a sharper alcohol moment that develops. But then it just presses those different aromas towards the tongue, towards the gums. And then you get vanilla, a lot of fruit, mango, even tiny little plums. And that spice is there. And then it's a little bit dry at the end. But then what really, really is interesting is those roasted grains. We have like kata malts, caram malted grains. We have a little bit of the espresso moment, a little bit of the peanut moment there. There's not anything wrong with the whiskey. Hello, Whiskey Dodo. He's going to watch this in English instead of the German version I just did. This is a good whiskey. 40 euros. Let's call it $48 at the moment for a half-liter bottle. Now, I always like to compare my whiskeys. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out a brand new bottling as well from the Glasgow single malt Scotch whiskey. This is the 2009 release. This was actually in ex-bourbon casks and finished in virgin oak. And so we're going to get a good comparison at the price. I also paid about 40 some euros for this. I paid 49 pounds for this, but over here at the moment it's 43 euros. This is 39.90. So this is a fairly good comparison. Oh, what I forgot to do, and that's kind of important as well, is to try a little bit of water sometimes. It is 45%. Why they didn't go with 46, I forgot to ask. There's a great story about how they actually did this. Now, to be part of a brand new distillery is an exciting, exciting thing. And the sales rep, he used to work for a different company, brand new whiskey distillery, 3 years old, literally just. And so they needed new people. They picked some of the best German whiskey professionals to work for them, headhunted literally, and got them to work for them. So I was talking with Michael, and I was talking to him, how did you pick these casks? He said, well, basically, Pat Hawk, which is a German YouTuber that now works for the distillery, and Mario, which is the master distiller, Mario Rudolph, they actually went and they picked the casks. So what they first of all did is said, oh, it's young, so we need some ex-quarter casks. So very small cask, a lot of surface area, very quick maturing. That's what we want. We want some rum, we want some PX, we want some PX, we want some Pedro Jimenez, we want some ex-bourbon. And then it was like, why don't we throw in a chestnut? And it's like, nah, chestnut is, nah, I don't know. And they tried it, was like, that's good. And they threw out a lot more of the quarter casks, kept on developing the different recipes and the different formulations. And they added a second chestnut cask. And it was like, Oh, wow, this is really nice. We got the chestnut, we've got the rum, we've got the PX, we've got the ex-bourbon. We've also got a little bit of that new oakiness in there through the ex-bourbon quarter casks. Let's wait. And so they waited 2 more days until everything was actually married, where it was just perfectly mixed. And they went, stop, this is what we want. Stop, this is going to be it. And that's the signature edition number 1. So over here we have the Glasgow. This is much, much higher pitched, much, much higher also in the acidity compared to the signature edition number 1. This is a lot deeper, totally different octaves that they're playing at. And over here we have a little bit more of a milk acidy moment. And over here we have fruit acidy moment. Interesting, both of them. On the nose, I would prefer probably the Glasgow just because I like this bright, light, fruity notes. But the signature 1 has a deep darkness to it, which I would not expect in a 3-year-old whiskey. Amazingly done. Glasgow whiskey, single malt whiskey. Second release is just a concentrated batch of flavors. It's so intensive, but it's really, really higher pitched. A lot more of a very light fruitiness. In comparison, the single edition number 1. Softer, sweeter, rounder, more coherent. There's actually more deeper, complex flavors here. The only thing I'm not a great fan of, but I think that's actually what they wanted, was this espresso paranut moment at the end. It's not really bitter. It's more of a tartness that comes along with this whiskey towards the end, and it continues on into the finish. I'm not a very, very big fan of this, but I'm sure many people like this. Very, very sweet. It has a little bit of alcohol push. It has a complexity, which is amazing for a 3-year-old whiskey. And towards the end, it turns a little bit of that tart, and I'm not the greatest fan. Now, my friend here, Whiskey Dodo, wrote, the bottle of St. Kilian is ugly. No, it's not. I actually love this bottle. This is so unique. This is so special. All they did was they actually took their pot still and made it into a bottle. I think that's so cool. All the information is here on the back, the distribution of the different casks. Here we have all the information we need with ABV, with the year distilled, the year in the bottle, the size of the bottle. Here we have the distillery name. I like this bottle. I think this bottle is great. And a lot of people at the Kiel Whiskey Fair just loved it as well. I think it's a very, very unique thing. Packaging is nice. It's just paper, but still, you have here in German, unfortunately not in English. We have a little statement from the master distiller. Here we have, of course, the barley, we have the pot stills, and we have the barrels, and it's all made in Germany. All right, so WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American. My question of the day was, do you know any whiskeys that have the Pedro Jimenez as well as the rum together in one? This is 40 euros. I'm going to actually give it a C++. Value for money, solid C. 20,000 bottles. It's not going to be a collector's item. It's not going to be anything special, but this is really something nice that finally St. Kilian, that has the foresight casks, can actually produce and deliver Scottish-style whiskey made in Germany for the German and European market. All right, WhiskyJason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of American. Thank you very much for watching. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, my videos come out, unless, of course, I do a live stream like today. So this is nice. This is actually very, very nice, but this is a little bit more up my alley. That's the way it is today. All right, good. WhiskyJason here. I thank you very much. See you soon. Bye-bye. Oops.